So when we talk about catching people being corrupt, first of all, shout out to Wayne J. I believe he's the state's attorney here or one of the state's attorneys here in Illinois. But he's also some sort of specialist with regards to corruption. And I never really knew the weight of my introduction when I met him in 2015 or 16. I think it was 16. I never knew why his name would matter later, and now I know. So shout out to Wayne. I want to talk about today when we catch some corrupt sort of practice taking place. I'm currently living through this. Every single time I call out the corruption, the next move for the corrupt is to call into question my mental health. I said, okay, if I'm crazy, then put me in a place where crazy people go to rest because I'm tired. But I think it's interesting that we've got this ability with AI to build kind of data collection, I don't want to call them bins, but it's kind of like a bin. You know how you are going through your closet and you are looking at everything you've got that doesn't fit or that fits or that's for the summer or the winter, and maybe you have a bin system where you're organizing and you throw all the pants in one bin and all the shirts in another bin and last season stuff in another bin. This doesn't fit, so it goes in a different bin. We have that with data collection, and it's an automatic process. It's a sort of sorting, this collection of data sets, and then we have the ability to program with man-made neural networks. So in doing so, we can make corrupt sort of sensors, which I think is amazing and phenomenal. But what do we do once we are confident that something is corrupt? What do I mean by corrupt? Okay, let me share. My child has been being separated from me. I have court-ordered custody. There are many people involved. I've jumped through all of their hoops. I don't have any criminal record. I don't do drugs or alcohol. Clearly, there's something else going on here. Now, when you plug in all of those variables, so parent in the middle, right? Situation in the middle, create a neural network. Variables, services, right? So that goes over here, like a little line, services. Now from services, you ask several questions. What services? Is parent compliant with services? How is compliancy? Sporadic, intermittent, regular, etc., and so forth. I've never missed a class for any one of my services, any of them. Even though I know that I don't need these services, I've been quite literally extorted by them saying, if you don't do this, you cannot see your child. So this is very illegal, very inhumane, very unconstitutional, unethical, immoral, all of the above. So the corruption sensor, so to speak, that's an AI function would be something that we program, a software development that we program to link to task, to link to DCFS or DOC or federal DOC, I don't know what it's called, or I don't know what other programs there are, maybe the housing hotline, the housing shelter assistance hotline, and this is especially for oppressed people, because when you have money, you can fly over the corruption, right? When you have money, you can afford to stand away and kind of let the flames die out and then come back to the ashes and speak your truth or handle the situation, or maybe there's no situation left to handle. But when you're poor and you're oppressed and you're stuck in this situation, there should be an automatic trigger. And this trigger, if we talk about the butterfly effect, is going to save so much time, energy, and effort, and just improve the quality of life for everyone. So once you enter in all of the, and I'm sure someone's doing this, like I'm 100% sure that someone in deep learning, machine learning, AI programming is 100% been involved in this for quite some time. I know that it's got to exist. But then you look at things like child visits, evaluations of visits, et cetera, and so forth, and you get to the point where these are highly corruptible services. If someone doesn't like the parent, or if someone disagrees with the parent's parenting style, all they have to do is write down in their little notebook, or if perception is off, that they don't like X, Y, and Z. In this country, the United States of America, as well as worldwide, we don't have guidelines or parameters for the way you must parent your child, period. We just have guidelines for what, is abuse. You can't hit your kid, you can't do this, but you could put your child into clown college, in addition to whatever the minimum basic education levels are in the school. You could put your child into a rigorous mathematics program. You could put your child into, a piano school. You could remove your child completely from public school and homeschool your child. You could take your child and live a lifestyle of travel. You could teach your child to speak Spanish only. You could teach your child 5 or 6 different languages. You could tell your child that you only eat 1 meal a day with 2 small snacks. You could teach your child that physical activity is the most important thing ever. There are no black and white credentials to parenting in this country and in the world. The United States is one of the only countries with a DCFS system. It's incredibly predatory. You don't see any rich people. There are no rich people that DCFS interferes with and takes their kids away. It doesn't happen. It does not happen, period. So these are all needs that the most oppressed and the most silenced and the most, I want to call it being kind of chameleoned or being disguised. They disguise these people as things that they're not, so that they can get away with what they're doing to them. So say, for instance, a parent is separated from their child for whatever circumstance that we can't see at surface or face value. If there is no legal reason to keep the child from the parent, there's something called there's an amendment that covers due process, which means that we all have the right to parent our children unless there is a formal hearing that proves in clear English language for everyone to understand what the reason a parent cannot parent their child is. And then a judge or jury or both, as well as, any other qualified professionals as appointed by the court agree, that needs to be communicated effectively to all parties involved, and it needs to be proven. So until that is proven, parents still have their rights in this country and everywhere else. When we start to go around those laws, when we start to not abide by those laws, we are living in a society that no one wants to live in. Can you imagine going home from a hard day at work and your kids are at home? They're always at home. Maybe grandma lives in the apartment upstairs from you, so your 3 kids are at home relaxing, and you just literally got off of like one of the worst shifts that you've ever worked, and you go home and you expect to find all 3 of your kids chilling, watching a movie or eating or asleep or doing whatever kids do. But instead, all you find in the house when you get there is grandma and 3 unmade beds with a mess. Oh my God, could you imagine? And then you find out that some third party DCFS has literally broken into your home with the assistance of law enforcement and taken your children out of their house without even asking grandma. Grandma had no idea. It's a sick practice. Like, I cannot say enough sicks. There should be no advocacy for this group, none whatsoever. There is no need for it. AI can monitor all of this. There needs to be basic guidelines. Is a parent harming their child? Are they physically or emotionally beating their child down? If they are not, then the child and the parent need to stay together through whatever sort of repair or restoration project is being recommended. If a parent is, needing the assistance financially of society, so they are enrolling in some sort of welfare program or some sort of third-party assistance program, regardless of what it is. All of that should be, handled together with the family intact. People, have you ever heard of divide and conquer? So there's a reason why they rip families apart. And if you know, you know. So now that we're in the age of the internet where we all know or can know if we want to know, we need to fix it. And if no human being can put their name on it for fear of retaliation or slander or whatever you want to call it, AI can. AI is not scared. AI ain't scared. I promise you it's not. AI says what we all want to say, wishing we had the intellect to say, or couth, or understanding, or respect, or class, or courage to say. AI says it. AI says it without a qualm. AI doesn't even think twice. You tell AI what you're thinking, or you show AI what's going on, and AI, from human behavior, knows what to say. It knows what to say. And the anti-corruption measurements, anti-fraud, anti-corruption, all of this, nothing about this is new. Just because you've never heard of it doesn't mean it's new. This has been going on for 10, 20 years at least. This has been in development. I would guess that a lot of this technology was considered classified because they saw many years ago, probably in the 50s and 60s, they probably predicted what a tremendous change this would have on the way we were used to doing things. So they started slowly rolling out the technology, slowly. People don't like change overnight. They like slow incremental changes, right? So first it was black and white TV. Everyone was like, whoa, what's this little picture in the box? Like, what is that? And then from black and white TV, it was color TV. And then from color TV, it was radio, black and white, and color TV. Then from there, it was VHS. Then from there, it was cassette tapes, or what are those things called? 8-tracks, records, all of that. So we have always had technology, and we've always, where there is one successful, step or leap with regards to technology, the next thing is not far behind it, because we never recreate the wheel. So it's not like running a marathon. It's like picking up where someone else left off. So someone else's marathon is someone else's first mile. Do you understand what I'm saying? All of the work that it took to create things like electricity, or the record player, or the VHS, or the tape deck, or the CD player, or the computer, or the internet, etc., and so forth. Someone put in blood, sweat, and tears into all of that, but then a fresh person who didn't need to go through all of that, they walked in and they picked it up with the understanding of what they created and what it could become. Maybe not the understanding, but rather the imagination. And then they put in the work and made it happen. So it's all very interesting to me that we still have these systems of corruption or oppressive regimes. I feel as though this all should have been extinguished long ago, and I'm very hopeful and excited for the future of what AI will bring with regards to this sort of control, because to be quite frank, oppression is control, but the type of control we want is the type that prevents us from losing our rights, that prevents us from going through pain and heartache and struggle for no reason. And not just for no reason that suits the purpose of ourselves and our families. There are no such thing as sacrifices. I will disagree with anyone who says that there is. There's no one who needs to be harmed for progress to be made. There's always another way, even if you don't see it at first. And I think that human sacrifice or struggle or suffering is too often coming as a result of laziness, and people who are otherwise incredibly intelligent and capable say, well, I can waste X amount of time coming up with an ethical way to test this out, or we can just test it on someone, right? And that's my whole entire thing is there should not be sacrifices, and in a corrupt regime, there are many sacrifices. There's lots of bloodshed, and there's a lot of pain and suffering that does not need to exist. There's a person who I know personally on a personal level. I don't really talk to them anymore, but this person for many years has been being sexually abused. There's two ways you can go with sexual abuse. Either you become how I am, asexual, I don't want anything to do with it, I hate it, it takes a lot to get me, to even think about it. And then the other way is you become overly sexualized. It becomes a normal part of life. And I think that what causes, because it's not our choice, we don't get to cognitively choose, well, I think I'll be over sexualized, or well, I think I'll be traumatized by sex. What makes that determination is our current life circumstances. So if that person is unable to escape from that sexual abuse, they put a smile on and they enjoy, or are brainwashed subconsciously into enjoying it, because that's it. There's no other option. So, when you're there over and over and over being forced to do something, it's not even making the best of it. It's survival. It is survival, and so I think that in some sense, the AI that prevents corruption and corruptive tactics, it's going to remove a lot of the power that we have to abuse as human beings, and to oppress, and to execute power and control and tactics of power and control over each other. Imagine we set a rule for AI, or an algorithm for AI, that says in an uncorrupted system, so a system that maintained its integrity, its ethics, its morals, and we created these rules that no person should be homeless, no person should be without income, no person should be without food, no person should be without access to healthcare, no person should be without clothing, and no person should be without an acceptable budget for pursuing their goals, dreams, and no person should be without transportation. If we could set an algorithm that creates that sort of smart society where we live in those terms, it would be corruption or corruptible to have someone existing in that society without those things, right? So then the filter would be the anti-corruption system that runs the checks and balances, the quality assurance, the quality control for those systems. I was talking to a cop who was telling me, I'm just an old guy, I don't know anything about social media, I don't know anything about this, I don't know anything about that. And that's scary for me, because we need cops who are doing, regular cop stuff, but we also need cops, maybe not in the traditional sense of what a cop does, to understand what is going on in the world, period. How can you be a cop? How can you be responsible for ensuring the safety of anyone if you don't know what's going on in the world? So we were specifically talking about Snapchat and other social medias where you can add a live link, a clickable link. You can create a link, you can upload something, and you can say, click here, boom, and then it takes you to a third-party website, right? And this person could not believe that you could do e-commerce and market it for free through social media. And they're thinking like, well, you don't need social media. What are these kids doing on social media? I'm telling you right now, I have spent a significant portion of my life. Did you eat all the cookies? Did you eat all the cookies? I know I told you to. I'm just asking, did you? But I have spent a significant portion of my life trying to mitigate and teach people why social media is necessary. If you guys think we're going backwards, you're wrong. This is not a matter of opinion. We cannot uninvent the VHS, right? We're never going to be able to say no one's going to watch movies. The VHS might not be around anymore, but you know what is? MP3, DVD, downloads. So the means for, can you check on that document for me? Can you ask her if she received it and verify the password? Thank you. The means for consumption of the video or the movie may have changed, but would we have ever reached the stage of MP3 without first hitting on VHS? Probably not, right? So that's the same with social media. We need social media because we can't undo it. It's done. So you need to have some sort of understanding for what's going on with it in order to survive in the world today, and most definitely as we move on in the future. Now, if we're talking about e-commerce, I talk about this all the time as well. Social media gives anyone and everyone the ability to be H&M, to be Victoria's Secret, to be Gucci, to be Dior, to be Chanel. If you have $100 in your pocket, you find a wholesaler and you create. You can walk, not even, if you're, and that's when you have no talent. That's when you are lacking in talent completely. You could even go to Walmart, pick something, any item, right? Find it on clearance, double your price or triple your price with the right marketing and advertisement. Come to social media, inbox someone, create a mass message, whatever your method of advertisement and marketing is. That's your own prerogative. But you simply create a checkout page through Wixspace or Squarespace or whatever. They're free. It's free to create a website. If you want to call your website www.heather.com, you have to pay. And you have to hope that URL is not already owned by someone. But you can create any website for free right now on Wix or Squarespace. It's just going to give you a long, drawn-out URL. But who cares? The HTML you will never be able to remember it in a million years. But like I said, who cares, right? What you're going to want to do is create that website as a checkout page. Link it to Toast or Square or whoever you use for your POS. And that's also mostly free. Usually they're charging something, if anything, on the back end when payment is made. So you create your item. If you're a fashion designer, you go buy your fabric, you go make your item, and you sell the shit online. And now you are Dior, you are H&M, you are Walmart, you are Target, you are whomever. And all you have to do is photograph your item, pitch it to the right audience, and then click on the little paper clip on Snapchat or the live link on Instagram or the copy paste the HTML on Facebook, and it's a clickable link. It's a clickable link where they could just be linked to your checkout page. Literally, you post a photo of your item, your checkout page URL, boom, you click on it, there they go, and all they have to do now is run their credit card, and it's virtually risk-free because it's easier and less risky with regards to fraud prevention and things of that nature to shop at home than it is to shop in the store. Great, I almost said it in Spanish. Bueno, the risk is available on both ends. If you are entering if your camera's corrupted or if you are entering your credit card information, there might be a program like Keystrokes or something like that for tech people. They understand. If you know, you know. And if not, there could be people doing something as nefarious as zooming in off of a high-def camera from the ceiling in a store to get your credit card information. But the point is the risk is the same. It's there no matter where you shop, and I would argue that it's even less if you're shopping at home. So as a vendor, as a private vendor, entrepreneur, whatever, you have the ability to create a product or purchase a product and resell, market that product, have someone pay you for that product. And if they don't want to pay through some sort of third party like, Toast, or you don't want to set up a POS because you're not that successful, you could do it with Venmo. You could do it with Cash App. You could do it with PayPal. And then you ship the product to them. And never before has this been the case. It's always been, well, if I want to go into business for myself and I want to be Christian Dior, or I want to be Louis Vuitton, or I want to be, seen by people who are shopping on Michigan Avenue, you're paying Michigan Avenue rent. You're paying rent like Christian Dior Michigan Avenue. That's the way that sales were made to that demographic previously. Today it's not that way. Today you can go with a stack of business cards or flyers or a QR code, and you can ask people, hey, scan my QR code, scan my QR code, scan my QR code. Is everyone going to say yes? Of course not. Of course not. If you were standing on the corner with free fucking hot dogs, not everyone would say yes. But some people will. Some people will. And then you get lucky, and for the 100, or 1,000 no's you receive, you get that one yes, and boom, you're in business. And you don't have to pay a rent, and you don't have to do anything. So there's just more opportunity than ever, and for the corruptive practices that are preventing people, especially like myself, who are fully aware of these opportunities and really really eager to take advantage of them, to be a part of them, to capitalize off of these opportunities. That the playing field's even right now. The playing field is even right now, as more even than it has ever been, ever in the existence of history, ever. So what are you going to do? And this corruptive, programming that has the anti-corruption and has the anti-fraud and all of that, I need that to develop immediately, right away, like ASAP. Because calling someone crazy because they're smarter than you, taking away someone's child because you're selling them like a human fucking slave, calling humans cats or dogs your pets because you have more money than them. There's going to come a time, mark my words, my name is Heather Gillespie, hear me. There's going to come a time when AI has been programmed to create algorithms that create safe, integrity-filled spaces for humans to exist. You're going to put in your bank account some greedy amount of money, and AI is going to say, fuck you. And they're going to take that money out, whether it's your bank account, your PayPal, your Cash App, your Bitcoin, lo que sea. And they're going to say, F you, and they're going to grab all that shit. And they're going to distribute it all around. We're getting there. We're getting closer and closer each day, and there's no stopping it. This is where we're going. So, and I'm excited to get there. But for now, I'm just documenting. I was looking at, little mini cameras and things of that nature, because there's been a lot of corruption around me, so much so that I can't even make a list of it. Did you ask?
Yeah, she said it didn't work.
What didn't work?